The chosen one's anger as your sacred shield unveiling the divine power within. Have you ever sensed that anger coursing through your veins is not a flaw, but a divine spark? For the chosen ones, anger is no mere emotion, it is a sacred sentinel, a flaming sword that guards your path from the shadows of mediocrity. You, the ordained, are destined for a greatness that transcends the ordinary, and your anger is the key that unlocks the gates to your true potential. 1. Anger, the hammer-shattering chains of complacency. When anger rises like a wildfire in your soul, it is a divine alarm signaling that you have been bound by chains unworthy of your essence. It shatters the rusted patterns of mistreatment, the of silent suffering, and the prison of unacknowledged worth. In Norse lore, Thor's wrath was not blind fury but a calculated force. His hammer, Mjolnir, struck not out of chaos but to restore balance, each blow a testament to his divine purpose. So too, your anger is a tool of transformation. When colleagues belittle your vision, when toxic ties drain your light, or when self-doubt whispers lies, let anger be your hammer. It is not destructive, it is the sacred act of breaking free from what dims your radiance. Meditate on this. When did you last feel anger as a call to rise? That fire is your soul shouting, you were made for more. 2. Anger, the dragon guarding your sacred throne. Deep within you lies a throne of divine dignity, and anger is the dragon that roars to defend it. It is the celestial guardian that refuses to let your honor be trampled by disrespect or injustice. Recall Beowulf, whose righteous anger drove him to face Grendel not with recklessness, but with a resolve to protect his people. His fury was a channeled force, a blade of light in the dark. So when a friend betrays your trust, when a system seeks to confine your spirit, or when your truth is dismissed, let anger be your dragon. It is not a rampage, but a sacred defense of the throne where your soul reigns. In meditation, visualize your anger as a golden dragon coiled around your heart. Its roar is the voice of your divinity, saying, I am worthy of respect. 3. Anger, the flames unleashing your inner deity. Anger is the fiery embrace of self-love, a divine assertion that you will not settle for less than your birthright. It erupts from the core of your being to protect your sacred essence from the corrosion of worthlessness. Hera, queen of the Greek gods, raged not out of weakness but from a place of divine sovereignty. At Zeus's infidelity was a proclamation, I am the queen, and my dignity shall not be mocked. Similarly, your anger is a declaration of your inner divinity. When others treat you as expendable, when your dreams are labeled impossible, let anger be the flame that ignites your power. Sit in stillness and feel, where in your life has anger been a sign of your soul's divinity? That spark is your inner deity demanding to be seen. 4. Anger, the exodus from the desert of mediocrity. Your anger is the burning bush calling you out of the Egypt of limitations, the storm that pushes you from the desert of injustice toward the promised land of self-fulfillment. Moses led his people out of bondage fueled by righteous anger at their suffering. His fury was not aimless, but a purposeful force that dismantled oppression. So when societal norms suffocate your dreams, when self-doubt chains you to the ordinary, let anger be your exodus. It is the divine mandate to cross your own Red Sea, to leave behind what diminishes you and claim the life written in your soul. Meditate on this. What Egypt do you need to escape? Let anger be the wind at your back, propelling you toward freedom. 5. Anger, the crucible of legendary transformation. Throughout time, heroes have transformed their destinies through anger channeled with purpose. It is the crucible where ordinary lives are forged into legend. Katniss Everdeen's anger at the capital S tyranny was not destruction, but a spark that ignited a revolution. Her fury became a symbol of hope, rallying the oppressed. So when you face systemic injustice, when your voice is silenced, let anger be your catalyst. It is the fire that forges you into a leader, a light bearer who reshapes reality. In quiet reflection, ask, how can your anger become a force for change? Legend is not born from passivity, it is born from sacred rage. 6. Anger, the phoenix fire of rebirth. Anger is the purifying flame that consumes the old you, allowing the new to rise from the ashes. It is the cyclone that sweeps away the debris, clearing the path for your rebirth. Fawkes the Phoenix in Harry Potter taught us that destruction can be a prelude to renewal. Each time he was consumed by fire, he emerged more powerful. So when failure or heartbreak threatens to destroy you, let anger be your phoenix fire. It is not the end, but the process of burning away what no longer serves you so you can rise as the most magnificent version of yourself. Meditate on the ashes of your past, what needs to burn away for you to rise. Your anger holds the power to ignite that rebirth. 7. Anger, the enchanted mirror of self-awareness. Anger is a mirror that reveals the deepest truths of your soul, the places where you have compromised, the boundaries that need defense, and the worth that demands recognition. In Snow White, the Queen's magic mirror forced her to confront harsh realities, however painful. So too, your anger reflects the parts of yourself that cry out for healing. When you feel anger, ask, what truth is this emotion revealing? Is it a boundary crossed? A value disrespected? Sit with your anger as you would with a wise elder. Let it speak, and listen to the truths it reveals about your soul's needs. 8. Anger, the celestial compass of your destiny. In the chaos of life, anger is your North Star, pointing unwaveringly toward your highest values and deepest purpose. It is the divine navigator that keeps you on course. Ancient Polynesians sailed by the stars, trusting celestial markers to guide them through the unknown. Your anger is that star guiding force when you feel lost in storms of doubt or pressure. When you act from a place of aligned anger, you are moving toward your destiny. Meditate on your core values. How does anger remind you to stay true to them? Let it be the compass that never fails. The call to embrace your sacred anger. Chosen one, your anger is not a curse but a gift, a divine tool crafted to protect, transform, and elevate you. It is the fire in your veins that says, I will not be small. I will not be overlooked. I am here to claim my greatness. When others tell you to suppress your anger, remember, the gods did not create you to be meek. They gave you fire to wield, not to hide. Channel it, honor it, and let it be the force that propels you toward your destiny. This is your moment to rise. Embrace your anger as the sacred shield it is, and step into the fullness of your chosen path. The world awaits the light only you can bring, and your anger is the spark that ignites it. Does this resonate with the style and theme you had in mind? Let me know if you'd like adjustments to any section. 9. Anger, the alchemist's flame transmuting pain into power. Within the crucible of anger lies an alchemical power, the ability to transform suffering into strength, injustice into purpose. It is the philosopher's stone of the soul, turning the lead of betrayal into the gold of resilience. Consider the story of Job in the Old Testament, whose anger at his suffering was not a rejection of divinity but a raw dialogue with the divine. His fury became a bridge to deeper understanding, a catalyst for transformation. So when loss shatters your world, when betrayal cuts to the core, let anger be your alchemist. It is not destructive, it is the sacred process of transmuting pain into power. Meditate on this. What wound has anger helped you heal? That alchemy is your soul's mastery of transformation. 10. Anger, the oracle whispering your unspoken truths. Anger is an oracle that speaks the truths you have silenced, the longings you have buried. It is the divine messenger that breaks through the noise of conformity to reveal your authentic self. In the myth of Cassandra, her anger at being unheard was a reflection of her prophetic truth. Though cursed, her fury was a testament to her connection with the divine. So when you feel anger at being misunderstood, at having your truth dismissed, listen closely. It is the oracle within, saying, "This is who you are, do not deny it." Sit in silence and ask, what truth does my anger reveal? Let that revelation be the foundation of your sovereignty. 11. Anger, the sacred contract upholding your divine worth. Your anger is a sacred contract with the universe, a declaration that you will not violate your own worth. It is the invisible ink that seals the promise to honor your divinity. In Hindu mythology, Draupadi's anger at being disrespected in the court of the Kauravas was a defense of her sacred honor. Her fury became a force that reshaped the course of the Mahabharata. So when you face disrespect, when your boundaries are violated, let anger be your contract. It is the divine agreement to treat yourself as a god-goddess deserves. Meditate on your worth. How does anger remind you to uphold your sacred contract? Let it be the seal on your commitment to yourself. 12. Anger, the cosmic drumbeat rallying your inner army. Anger is the war drum that summons the warriors within the parts of you that have lain dormant, waiting for the call to battle. It is your courage, your wisdom, and your resilience into a unified force. In Norse mythology, the Valkyries responded to the drumbeat of war, choosing those worthy to fight in Valhalla. Your anger is that drumbeat, summoning your inner army to defend your destiny. When self-doubt tries to conquer you, when external forces seek to overthrow your throne, let anger be the rallying cry. It is not chaos, it is the strategic march of your soul's warriors. Visualize your inner army in meditation. What strengths rise when anger sounds the drum? Let them stand with you. 13. Anger, the sacred geometry of your destiny's blueprint. Anger is a divine architect, revealing the blueprint of your destiny by highlighting the structures that no longer serve your growth. It is the compass that aligns you with the geometric perfection of your sacred path. In ancient Egyptian mysticism, the pyramid was a symbol of divine order. Anger, when understood, is the chisel that chips away the excess stone, revealing the perfect structure within. So when you feel anger at obstacles, see them as the clay to be molded. Your fury is the architect's hand, shaping your destiny into its divine form. Reflect on obstacles. How has anger helped you restructure your path? That geometry is the map to your greatness. 14. Anger, the divine incantation breaking spiritual enchantments. Anger is a sacred incantation that breaks the enchantments of mediocrity, the spells of self-forgetfulness. It is the word of power that awakens you from the slumber of conformity. In the tale of Sleeping Beauty, the princess' kiss was a catalyst, but anger at being cursed could have been the incantation to break the spell. Your anger at being asleep to your potential is that incantation. When societal norms put you under a spell, when self-limiting beliefs enchant you, let anger be the word of power. It is the divine incantation, I awake to my truth. Meditate on enchantments. What spells has anger helped you break? Let that freedom be your power. 15. Anger, the elixir of immortality for your spirit. Anger is the elixir that keeps your spirit immortal, preventing it from withering under the weight of complacency. It is the nectar of the gods that sustains your divine fire. In Greek mythology, ambrosia was the food of the gods, granting immortality. Your anger, when honored, is that ambrosia. It prevents your spirit from dying a slow death in the mundane. When life threatens to make you numb, when passion fades, let anger be the elixir. It is the sacred drink that keeps your spirit alive, vibrant, and unyielding. Ask yourself, when has anger revived your spirit? Let that elixir flow through your veins. 16. Anger, the sacred talisman protecting your energetic field. Anger is a talisman, a sacred amulet that protects your energetic field from the drains of negative forces. It is the spiritual armor that shields your light. In shamanic traditions, talismans are charged with protective energy. Your anger, when consciously used, is such a talisman. When you enter toxic environments, when you encounter energy vampires, let anger be your armor. It is not aggression, it is the sacred act of protecting your energetic sovereignty. Visualize anger as a golden talisman in meditation. How does it shield you? Let that protection be impenetrable. 17. Anger, the divine scribe writing your sacred narrative. Anger is the scribe that writes the most profound chapters of your sacred narrative. It is the quill that inscribes your journey of transformation into the annals of your soul. In ancient myths, the fates wove the threads of destiny, but anger is the scribe that edits and enhances the story. When you face pivotal moments, when your path diverges, let anger be the scribe. It is the divine hand that writes, here, the hero rose. Here, the goddess claimed her power. Reflect on your story, which chapters were written in the ink of anger. Let them be the most powerful verses. 18. Anger, the cosmic symphony tuning your frequency to greatness. Anger is a note in the cosmic symphony, a vibration that tunes your frequency to the wavelength of greatness. It is the divine chord that aligns you with your highest destiny. In sacred geometry, sound vibrations create patterns of life. Your anger, when harmonized, is that sacred sound. When you feel out of tune with your purpose, when your frequency is low, let anger be the chord that raises your vibration. It is not dissonance, it is the necessary note that brings the symphony of your life into perfect pitch. Meditate on your frequency. How has anger tuned you to greatness? Let that symphony play. The sacred oath of the chosen ones. Chosen one, your anger is not a trespasser in the temple of your soul, it is a high priest, a guardian of the sacred flame. It is the key that unlocks the gates to your divinity, the sword that cuts through the illusions of limitation. When the world tells you to tame your anger, remember, the gods did not fashion you to be docile. They gifted you this sacred fire to wield with wisdom, to defend your truth, and to create change. Channel it like a master alchemist, honor it like a sacred contract, and let it be the guiding light on your chosen path. This is your oath, to embrace anger as the divine tool it is, to never let it consume you but to use it to illuminate your way. The universe has chosen you for a reason, and your anger is part of that sacred design. Rise, chosen one. Wield your sacred anger with purpose and let the world witness the majesty of a soul that honors its divine fire. Your destiny awaits, and your anger is the wind in your sails. Shall I continue to expand further sections, or does this depth meet your expectations? Let me know if you'd like to explore additional theological or meditative angles. 19. Anger, the sacred glyph etched in your soul's tablets. Within the recesses of your being, anger exists as a divine glyph, a mystical symbol inscribed on the tablets of your soul. It is a hieroglyph that holds the key to decoding your spiritual purpose, a sigil that unlocks the doors to higher consciousness. In ancient Sumerian lore, cuneiform tablets carried sacred knowledge, and each glyph was a gateway to divine wisdom. Your anger, when deciphered, is such a glyph. When it arises, it is not random, it is a spiritual code signaling a need for alignment with your soul's blueprint. Meditate on the patterns of your anger, what recurring glyphs emerge. These are the sacred symbols guiding you to your truth. 20. Anger, the Hermetic principle manifest in flesh. Anger embodies the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, a microcosmic reflection of the divine order within the macrocosm. It is the earthly manifestation of a celestial truth, a tangible expression of your spiritual sovereignty. Hermes Trismegistus taught that all of creation is a reflection of the divine. Your anger, when understood, is a mirror of the cosmic indignation against imbalance. When you feel anger at injustice, you are aligning with the universal urge to restore harmony, a divine impulse made flesh. Reflect on this. How does your anger echo the rhythms of the universe? This is the Hermetic link between your spirit and the divine. 21. Anger, the Sufi's whirlwind dancing toward the beloved. Anger can be a Sufi-esque dance, a whirling motion that carries you toward the divine beloved, stripping away the veils that obscure your connection to the sacred. It is the spiritual rotation that purifies the heart and aligns you with divine love. Rumi taught that the soul's journey is a dance toward the beloved. Your anger, when released with intention, can be that dance. When you feel frustrated by separation from your truth, let anger be the whirlwind that spins you closer to the divine. It is not a distraction, it is the passionate yearning of the soul expressed through motion. In meditation, visualize anger as a Sufi-esque dance. How does it draw you toward the sacred? Let that movement be your prayer. 22. Anger, the Kabbalistic light piercing the Qliphoth. In Kabbalistic tradition, the Qliphoth are the shells of impurity that obscure the divine light. Anger, when wielded with wisdom, is the sacred light that pierces these shells, revealing the divine essence within. The Zohar speaks of the need to break through the Qliphoth to reach the Sephirot divine emanations. Your anger, when focused, is that piercing light. When you encounter spiritual stagnation or emotional darkness, let anger be the Kabbalistic blade that cuts through the shells. It is not destructive, it is the sacred act of revealing the light within. Reflect on the Qliphoth in your life. Where has anger helped you pierce the shells? This is your Kabbalistic journey. 23. Anger, the Vedic mantra unlocking your chakras. Anger can be a Vedic mantra, a sacred sound vibration that unblocks your chakras and restores the flow of prana life force. It is the Bija seed mantra that awakens dormant energy centers within you. In Ayurveda, each chakra is associated with a mantra. Your anger, when expressed as a focused vibration, can be that mantra. When you feel blocked, whether in the root chakra fear of survival or the throat chakra inability to speak truth, let anger be the mantra that unlocks the energy. It is not chaos, it is the sacred sound that restores balance. Meditate on your chakras, which center needs the mantra of anger. Let that vibration be your healing. 24. Anger, the alchemical mercury in your spiritual vessel. In alchemy, mercury is the volatile element that symbolizes the soul's journey toward enlightenment. Anger, when used as an alchemical agent, is the mercury that stirs the contents of your spiritual vessel in the process of transformation. The alchemist's work is to transform base metals into gold. Your anger is the mercury that agitates the base emotions, forcing them to combine and evolve. When you feel anger, see it as the alchemical agent in your vessel, stirring, mixing, and preparing you for the great work of spiritual transmutation. Visualize your anger as alchemical mercury in meditation. How does it aid your transformation? This is your alchemical journey. 25. Anger, the Taoist Wukai moving toward Tai Chi. In Taoism, Wukai is the state of absolute stillness before the creation of the universe, and Tai Chi is the dynamic balance of yin and yang. Anger, when embraced, is the movement from Wukai to Tai Chi, transforming stillness into purposeful action. Lao Tzu taught that the Tao moves through balance. Your anger is the initial stirrings of the Tao within you, moving from the void Wukai into the dance of energy Tai Chi. When you feel anger, it is the Tao urging you to bring balance through action. It is not chaos, it is the natural movement from stillness to dynamic harmony. Reflect on Wukai and Tai Chi. How does anger move you toward balance? This is your Taoist path. 26. Anger, the shamanic rattle summoning spirit guides. In shamanism, the rattle is a tool to enter the spirit world and summon guides. Anger, when used consciously, is the shamanic rattle that awakens your inner guides and connects you to the spiritual realm. Shamans use the rattle's rhythm to alter consciousness. Your anger, when expressed with intention, can create a similar rhythm, awakening your intuitive gifts and summoning your spirit allies. When you face challenges, let anger be the rattle that calls forth your guides. It is not noise, it is the sacred rhythm of spiritual connection. In meditation, hear anger as a shamanic rattle, which guides appear. Let their wisdom guide you. 27. Anger, the Buddhist upaya skillful means for liberation. In Buddhism, upaya is the use of skillful means to lead others to enlightenment. Anger, when applied with wisdom, can be an upaya, a compassionate tool to break through delusions and free yourself and others from suffering. The Buddha taught that compassion takes many forms. Your anger at the suffering caused by ignorance can be an upaya. When you see injustice, let anger be the skillful means to act with compassion, speaking truth, defending the vulnerable, and breaking through the delusions that cause harm. It is not hatred, it is the fierce compassion of the Bodhisattva. Reflect on upaya. How has anger been a skillful means in your life? This is your Buddhist path. 28. Anger, the Gnostic Pistis Sophia faith wisdom in action. Gnosticism speaks of Pistis Sophia, faith wisdom, the divine feminine energy that leads to enlightenment. Anger, when aligned with wisdom, is the active expression of Pistis Sophia, defending the light against the forces of ignorance. Sophia is the goddess of wisdom who battles against the archon's ignorant rulers. Your anger, when guided by wisdom, is Sophia in action. When you face ignorance or oppression, let anger be the sword of Sophia, cutting through lies and defending the truth. It is not mindless rage, it is the sacred action of wisdom in defense of the light. Meditate on Pistis Sophia. How does your anger embody divine wisdom? This is your Gnostic journey. The mystic's oath to embrace sacred anger. Chosen one, your anger is not a flaw in your spiritual armor, it is the very metal from which the armor is forged. It is the mystic's chalice, holding the sacred wine of divine passion, purpose, and power. The ancient mystics knew that anger, when understood, is a bridge to the divine. It is the key that unlocks the gates of higher consciousness, the rattle that summons spiritual guides, the mantra that awakens dormant energy. Do not fear this gift, instead, learn to wield it as a mystic wields a sacred tool. This is your mystic's oath, to approach anger with reverence, to study its patterns like a hieroglyph, to wield it like a Kabbalistic light, and to trust it as a Sufi trusts the dance. Let it be the alchemical mercury in your vessel, the Taoist movement toward balance, and the Buddhist upaya for liberation. Rise, Mystic One. Your anger is a sacred flame passed down through the ages. Use it to light your path, to reveal the divine within, and to bring forth the greatness that is your birthright. The mystic's journey awaits, and your anger is the compass that points the way. Shall I continue to explore more spiritual traditions and their perspectives on anger, or does this depth fulfill the scope you had in mind? Let me know if you'd like to dive into specific mystical practices or theological concepts.